Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I'm just taking a break in between what I'm doing today. But I had a really amazing meeting with someone of like minds, and it went exceedingly well. And in the process, we were talking and engaging each other in a very supportive way. You know, as a leader or a CEO or someone trying to start a business, it could be a little isolating, and the problems and things that you encounter can be very isolatory. And so, when you engage others of like minds, it's not just about, oh, let's talk about, this is going to be successful, we're going to make lots of money. It's about what you're actually doing. And there's a lot of us who are now engaged in a newness to the old way of doing stuff, right? So, like in the business model, we're encountering these situations and these roadblocks that never existed before because we're thinking about things that never have existed before. And so, one of the things that we were talking about was about networking, but not like a network online, but like an actual network of like-minded people who are working on similar type tasks. And with us, it was specifically how to engage the world, of the world market, if you will. And I saw, so as we were talking, I saw like light go off in his eyes. Like he just got that look of, oh my God, it set off some sort of miracle or some sort of thought that was brand new to him. And he connected the dots, and I saw it happen live because of something I said. And so I kind of wanted to take a minute to kind of talk to the leaders that are encountering these hurdles that seem a little bit more purposeful, or a lot more of them at a short amount of period. You know, like you're just encountering wall after wall after wall. And I realized that one of the things that have been blocking me personally was that I kept thinking in terms of the box that everyone else is working in. And what I mean by that is, have you ever noticed that when you are dealing with your idea, that everyone always tells you, oh, you're going in too many different directions. Oh, you need to focus down to just one topic. Okay, no. That did work for you at the time, but we're in a technological age where the entire generation is now used to doing about 900 million things at different rates, not successfully, mind you, especially not driving, but that you do think and act and talk and do all of it at one time. And so we're becoming a little bit more, we're geared more towards a wider array of interests. So when you are devising your plan as a business owner or a leader, instead of looking at the box that you're being held in, why don't you look at what's holding that box and value whether or not it's still applicable? For example, the market that's leaving that still holds this idea that you can only do business with like one or two topics is the same business model that is now leaving the market because they are now retiring. And in place are a bunch of people who don't have that same restriction. We are skeptical of the way that they do business as it is. And so when we begin to navigate our own waters, understand that for a lot of people, this is brand new water. This is stuff that they've never seen before. And when you are that type of leader, you have to understand that it's not going to be received well necessarily because it doesn't even make sense to you sometimes. You know, that's one thing that I've always found interesting about Oprah Winfrey or the creator of Facebook and all these other people. When you have an idea, it's usually an idea that you travel with from your gut. And it's not something based in the now or knowing that you can even do it. It's just your gut reaction telling you whether something is right for you or not right for you. And hopefully this resonates for you then if this applies to you. If you're a leader and you are in some way trying to deal with not just a reward system for yourself, but one that includes humanity or the betterment of your community, then understand that you might run into a roadblock, which is a question that you must ask yourself. Are you doing this just for the 3D or the 5D? Or are you now working on something called the fourth sector? If you are a leader of the fourth sector, then I implore you to listen to my words. You don't have a box. There's no box for you. Anything is possible. It starts within you. And if you're having a reaction or the little tingly sensation is going up and down, then you are what I call a collectively conscious person. You are aware of everyone else, and in protecting yourself and in serving your own needs, you grew to look beyond that and how can that help others? And from that, your gut took you to another place, which is, well, how do you make that global? When you get to the global idea, don't listen to other people's limiting thoughts. They're not from the same headspace as we are. You are making the impossible probable. Why? Because there never used to be a fourth market. The fourth market is new. And I don't think it's just new to us in the 3D. I think this is new to anything in energy. It's original thought coming from eons of evolution. And it's finally removing the blocks of perspective. That's why my perspective trading is so interesting. It's because it does remove the block immediately. Because you stop thinking in the way that you were originally taught. And you relearn how to think. And when you do that, and you find avenues, and you have those little light moments where your gut just goes, oh my God, that's brilliant. That's exactly what I've been thinking. That was meant to happen. And so stop thinking in terms of what limits you and start thinking of how you are beyond that measure. And I think you will find a happier headspace. Because I don't think I have to worry about anything ever again as far as my idea, because I'm one of the first to the field. I'm going to lead this because I'm going to be leading it from a training perspective. I'm very self-aware of what the process will be, and that I know that I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes, and it's going to be played out probably live in the world to some degree, because I'm not shy from YouTube or whatever the platform turns out to be. But I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about us collectively. My actions are actually engaged towards the community that is now presenting for the fourth sector. It's a brand new field, guys. It's fascinating, and you have the capability if you're so inclined, because it's hard. It's a hard field to get into. But once you break in, once you get through the initiation, which is brutal, you are going to lead this thing. And it's a great idea. I mean, it's fascinating. But the topic is this: as a leader, if you continuously are banging your head, knowing that your gut is telling you you can do something and that it is possible, then it's possible. Just stop thinking in terms of the limitations or in terms of other people's opinions of what you're doing. When I tried to get the funding to get into tuition, because I'm a perfect blend of like philosophy and psychology, and I find for me personally that one of my expertise areas has to do with the blending of both, where I can equate exactly what's going on psychologically speaking, because I've done the research or I'm looking at the topics as to what physiologically is what's making this a reality for the person, and then the philosophy and basic faith behind why it's running into muddy waters or whatnot. So I marry the two. And it's one of the great things about my training is that I can tell you about 6 things in either direction of a topic, and it's either going to work or not work. And it's not like from a place of judgment or ego. It's just from looking at it from a standard of I'm not involved in the process, and therefore I can give you a better answer. But I will never take away from you the power, because at the end it's all within your grasp. It's about who you are and what you're willing to sacrifice in order to accomplish it. And when you think of the word sacrifice, stop thinking of the bad part of sacrifice. There are some good things to sacrifice. Let's say that you have some bad habits that you're trying to get rid of, like smoking. Personally, I think we have a bigger problem with diabetes in this country, and they need to leave me and my cigarettes alone, because I'm still here and we're fine. But I'm talking about in general. When it comes to like bad habits, if you're trying to lose it, and that's a sacrifice. You're willing to sacrifice from this perspective. You're willing to sacrifice something that makes you happy because you're trying to make sure that you live long enough to accomplish X, Y, Z. That's sacrifice. So depending on your perspective, you can make anything either good or the same principle is applied for your perspective. And with business, is because one of my expertise areas is business. I train people on this matter of fact. If you engage your perspective from where you learned it originally, which is a singular existence, basically the way that we originally processed our perspective is from a place of us, right? It's our experience plus our senses equate answers and truth. That's not true at all. Right, it's not. We can even think of it now as I'm saying it. You're just like, that makes no fucking sense. What the hell are they doing? And you start to go, okay, so what do I do? Well, that's where I come in. And I literally show you what some of the things are. And those of us who are in this field are not doing it because we're going to get any reputation out of it, because a lot of people don't even see my videos. But what it does is that it puts out into the world as energy a positive change. And it creates this space and this need that keeps expanding. And it's called the fourth sector. You see, it is possible to make money and have nonprofits. It is. You just have to have the perspective of how to manage both without it interfering with the laws and by it living, within the laws and the bylines of what it is that you're trying to do. And it's a lot harder. Like I said, it's not an easy field. But can you imagine when we get there? I'm going to invest in this freaking thing, because this is going to, they are talking about this possibility of revolutionizing the world, because it deals in almost the cryptocurrency. That's one of the things that came out of this. Then you have my perspective. There's all these things happening. The tarot cards. There's a major market. There's so many things that have to do with things that live outside of the norm, that have been struggling to punch through, and are now capable of it because the generation that was blocking it is on their way. They're bye, have a good day, we love you, we mean it, but just go that way. Because we're about to hit a major crisis, and I've said it before. When you have a market that's having so many people leave at one time, and they're exiting that direction, that what's left is the people who are going to have to balance off their medical costs and so forth. There's a couple of other things we haven't factored, though, because we haven't been under the right perspective. From a business standpoint, that doesn't only just put you on a void, but your taxes are going to go up. And here's why. It's going to affect all those millions of people. But we're neglecting the fact that there are other factors that continuously keep growing that we're not trying to solve. For example, my platform, autistic. The autistic community has grown to 1% of the world population, 1% that have a higher cost because they have a higher cost of medical costs and also education. Because we haven't invested in the research to get to where we need to be to understand how to unlock that particular way of communication. Because they're not, I hate to break it to you, but 44% of them are at or above the normal IQ. 44%. That means that if we can break through that little, whatever it is that helps them cope, whatever that tick is or whatever that is that they're holding them back, because we know they're brilliant beings. We know they are the evolution of brilliant. But we're stuck in this ability that we have to stay within the guidelines of research. No, we don't. Think outside the box. You are the box. So if you can think outside of the box, then you start to put things out into the universe that creates the energy that will be the drive to make an answer come about, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. It may sound a little confusing, but that's because I went off on a tangent. The moral of the story is stop living in the box. Stop being the box. Be the circle. Answer the questions beyond what you believe is possible. And the best way to do it is to start engaging the fact that as a business model, you are not limited at all on this planet or any other probably to have to live in the parameters of how it used to be done. The reason we know this is because we have changed the world. The world has changed. And the fact that we even have a name for what I'm doing and for what I'm going to be a leader in is a testament to what you can create if you just stop thinking inside of a box. And here's a hint. If you like to fucking swear when you talk, then you fucking swear when you talk. And that's one thing that I'm going to tell you right now. When you hire me, I'm not going to, or even if I'm doing a TED Talk, for that matter, I'm going to fucking swear. Like, it gets to the point, and one of the things that I notice, if used correctly, in an empowering way, that drives the point home, it is one of the most powerful things that you can do for another human being, because it cuts through their shit. And if you're going to be a coach, and you're going to coach me, and I'm this, this type of personality, then you better come at me honest. And honesty includes fucking swearing. Some things that we do is fucking stupid. Some of the things that we say is even dumber. Like, it's just, be true to who you are. If you swear, swear. Swear like a sailor. Just don't do it in front of kids. Even though I find that hypocritical. But that's nor here nor there. Anyway, that's my thought of the day. I'm going to tape this again, and I'm going to do one with a little bit less tangenty and more about just the message, and I'll post both of them so you guys can decide. But do me a favor, subscribe to my channel, and because I'm actually going to market with all of this, and I've got a fascinating model that you might want to know at some point in life. And I did it because I removed the box. And one of the things that I think that would be really helpful to everybody is to understand that whether you are part of the collective consciousness or not, the world has changed, and we are the game changers. It's not just one set of principles that is a game changer. There are some people on this planet that are going to game change everything. And you might want to know them when they start. So I just want to engage those people, and we're going to, this part of the altruistic channel, that's why it's called channels, is because there's multiple channels to everything. There are a lot of people that are coming into this that I'm pulling in, that I'm manifesting, that are going to be part of this, and I just want you guys to be a part of it as well. This is groundbreaking to a lot of people, and it may be a little complicated to get your head around, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. But it's something that you've always had. It's just your belief system. And it doesn't change who you are or your faith. It's just about removing the blocks that limit you from what you think you can do. And that's it. That's me for Altruistic Channel. I will tape this again for a little bit more professional on my LinkedIn page. But I will put this back out there. And I think I'm going to get rid of the hair for a little while, the gray hair. It was cute, but now I'm kind of over it. And that's the other thing. I'm just, play, have fun with your life. And because I'm such a workaholic, because my vision is right here and I can feel it, I can taste it, I don't allow myself a lot of freedom, and I'm willing to sacrifice that, and that's one of the other sacrifices that you might have to make. But at the same time, I've learned to have a little bit of fun. So the hair, it was cute, but now I gotta move on. And so I need to move on also from this segment. So you guys have a great day. This is Alpha Altruistic Channel. I will catch you in the fourth sector, and investors, I'm coming. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.